Hello everyone and welcome to another video. My track guide for Road Atlanta in the Toyota GR86. Let's get into it. For turn 1 in qualifying, you want to be all the way on the left. In the race you might have to defend here, then you want to be all the way on the right. We want to open up turn 1 as much as we can. So you can see I've got the grass here. You want to put just one set of wheels on it and barely in it, and then bring about half a car outside of the white line. Once the car is fully over the grass, I'll be hitting the brake and going to about 40% peak brake pressure before going into a little bit of trail braking. You want to try and carry as much speed as you can through this corner. We are going uphill, but it is tightening quick as well. Just before we get to the curb, we will go full throttle again. And then you want to use all of the necessary room on the outside. Ideally, you will end up near the curb on the outside. If you carry too much speed, you will end up in the grass. Now you want to stay on the left for the next set of corners. And again, we do that to open up to carry more speed through the corner. My braking marker is this white line here just in front of us. And as you can see, I'm all the way up on the curb. Once I pass the line, I'll go to about 55% brake pressure and easing that off all the way to the inside curb. I only cut the yellow and the blue part of the curb. If you cut it anymore, the car will come really unbalanced. Just before I get to the curb, I'll go on the throttle again. And then you want to be utilizing all of the curb on the outside. I'm pretty much just staying on the curb all the way around. The next section is actually just flat out, so that's all about interrupting the car as little as possible. For turn 5, you want to be utilizing all of the curb just here where we're gonna brake, and my braking marker is the board here on the right. My aim is about 50% brake pressure here, with easing that off all the way to the inside curb. Once we get to the inside curb, you want to go full throttle again, and that's even before we've turned the corner. We do that because there's quite a lot of room on the outside as runoff, even though that can be really unstable, but it is the fastest way through this corner. If you carry too much speed, you'll bounce too much around, and then you'll hit the wall on the outside. Now bring the car over to the left for turns 6 and 7. It might be tempting, but I don't recommend overtaking into turn 6, just because we have the long straight out of turn 7. I brake halfway between these two white lines here. The one in the distance is a lot more visible in the sim. Once in the middle of those two, I'll be hitting the brake, and I'll go to about 90% brake pressure, easing that off all the way to the inside curb. And just before we get to the curb, we will go on the throttle again, and we'll be trekking out to the left side of the track. It's all about the exit for turn 7, because we have the longest straight of the track just afterwards. My braking marker is this post here on the right. Once I start to lose that out of my sight, I'll be on the brake, and I go to about 70% brake pressure, with easing that off all the way to the inside curb. I do cut a little bit off the curb on the inside, but not too much, as that will unsettle the car quite a lot. Once at the curb, you'll go full throttle again, and then we want to utilize all of the room on the outside. There's a really big curb on the outside that's flat. Utilize this to carry more speed through the corner. And now we're on the longest straight of the track, flat all the way down to turn 10. This is a place where people will try and overtake you with craft, especially into turn 10. So think about what you have to do for turn 10. For qualifying, you want to be all the way on the right for turn 10. But the way up there, you want to take the shortest route possible, so we drive the fewest meters. And we want to interrupt the car as little as possible, just to help a little bit more with the acceleration. Turn 10 is a really great overtaking opportunity, so as I said, keep that in mind. My braking marker for this turn is the white line here just in front of us. We want to get the best exit out of the later part of the turn, because we're going on to a straight part just after that as well. My peak brake pressure is 95%, and I hold that pretty much all the way to the inside curb. We want to cut a lot of the first curb on the inside. You are able to cut all the yellow and blue part, so we should utilize that to open up the next part of the turn. Once at the curb on the inside, you want to go full throttle again and come out as far left as you can before turning into the next part. Again, we want to cut the yellow and blue curb. If you cut too much of the second curb, it will unsettle the car quite a lot, and use all of the room that's necessary. Now it's flat out all the way to the line, so you want to take the fewest meter you can. So I go out to about mid-track, and then you want to get as close as you can to the curb here. You can cut it as well, just don't be too aggressive so it bounces you out. And that's a lap around Road Atlanta in the GR86 of a 134.4. I have more track guides for the GR86 linked down below. Hopefully my guide has helped you. If it has, leave a like down below, consider subscribing as well. And now for the uninterrupted hot laps.